Hello, and thank you for your interest in the U.S. Highway 51 Stoughton Road North Corridor study. The Wisconsin DOT is investigating potential long-term solutions to address existing and anticipated future transportation issues on the U.S. Highway 51 corridor. The following presentation provides a summary of the study efforts completed to date and discusses the next steps moving forward. Here's an overview map of the study limits. The study starts just south of the State Highway 30 interchange in the city of Madison and extends approximately 5.5 miles north to just south of the I-39/90/94 interchange in the town of Burke. Within the study area, US Highway 51 is a primary north-south route through the east side of the city of Madison, providing access to commercial businesses and nearby neighborhoods. Traffic volumes range from approximately 13,000 vehicles per day in the Hanson Road area to around 49,000 vehicles per day just south of State Highway 30. The 13 intersections listed on this slide are located within the corridor and affect traffic safety and operations. The detailed alternatives that will be discussed in this presentation will focus on these intersections. Please note that while the Dental Road intersection is located on the north end of the study limits, due to its close proximity to the I-39 interchange, it will be evaluated as part of a separate study, the currently ongoing I-39/90/94 study. The existing corridor can be split into three sections based on the look and feel of Stoughton Road in each area. The south section extends from south of State Highway 30 to south of East Washington Avenue and is shown in yellow on the map. It has three mainline travel lanes in each direction and has signalized intersections at the State Highway 30 ramps and the Commercial Avenue intersection. The speed limit in this section is 45 miles per hour. The central section extends from East Washington Avenue to Kinsman Boulevard and is shown in red. It has 2 to 3 mainline travel lanes in each direction and signalized intersections at East Washington Avenue, Anderson Street, and Kinsman Boulevard. This section of the corridor is heavily utilized by bicyclists and pedestrians due to the close proximity of nearby neighborhoods and Madison College. This section also has several businesses with direct access onto Highway 51. The speed limit in this section is primarily 35 miles per hour, although the speed limit does change to 45 miles per hour just south of Kinsman Boulevard. The north section extends from Kinsman Boulevard to just south of the interstate and is shown in blue. It is more rural in nature and has 2 mainline travel lanes in each direction and a combination of signalized and unsignalized intersections. The speed limit in this section varies from 45 to 55 miles per hour. This slide provides a high-level overview of the study purpose and need. Every study develops a purpose statement to summarize the objective of the study and the needs it will address. The purpose of the U.S. Highway 51 North study is to accommodate existing and future travel demand with a focus on safety issues that affect travel on Stoughton Road. The graphic provides a summary of the primary issues and concerns on the corridor that the study will address. They include safety, primarily at intersections and for bicycles and pedestrians, travel demand, which includes addressing traffic congestion on the corridor, and infrastructure, including addressing geometric deficiencies and poor pavement condition. These needs, along with the input received from stakeholders, is what has driven the development and refinement of the improvement alternatives. They are also a key factor in the identification of the recommended alternative. More detailed information on the corridor needs can be found on the meeting exhibits. This slide shows an overview of the alternative development process. At the last public meeting in the fall of 2023, the study team presented and got feedback on several high-level concepts in order to help determine which concepts should be carried forward for more detailed evaluation. Since that time, the concepts that held the most promise have been developed into detailed alternatives, and they are the focus of this presentation. In addition, a recommended alternative for the corridor has been identified, which is the alternative that the study team feels best addresses the study purpose and need, taking into account the potential impacts and magnitude of costs of the alternatives, as well as the feedback received to date. Please note that the recommended alternative may change as the study moves forward, and the feedback received from stakeholders will factor into any changes that are made. Finally, the remainder of this presentation will focus on build alternatives that address the study purpose and need. However, there is also a no-build option throughout the corridor. This is an option where no improvements would be made beyond routine maintenance. The alternatives throughout the corridor focus on intersection improvements because that is where the majority of the safety and operational issues occur. In addition, capacity expansion or adding additional lanes to the US Highway 51 main line throughout the entire corridor is not anticipated. However, one alternative at the East Washington Avenue intersection would require an additional mainline travel lane through the intersection to address the operational needs. Potential bicycle and pedestrian accommodations have been developed throughout the corridor. In general, a shared use path is proposed on the east side of US Highway 51 that would extend from State Highway 30 to Piersdorf Street and from Hepker Road to County Highway CV. In addition, bicycle and pedestrian accommodations such as crosswalks are proposed at all signalized intersections between State Highway 30 and Hepker Road. The study team is also evaluating reducing the speed limit between State Highway 30 and East Washington Avenue from 45 miles per hour to 35 miles per hour. The primary reasons for evaluating a lower speed in this area are to reduce potential impacts and stakeholder feedback received. In order to promote lower speeds in this area, the existing rural shoulder would be removed and curb and gutter would be extended the length of the section. Proposed roadway cross-sections can be found on the roll plot exhibit. The following slides provide a brief overview of the alternatives that are being considered at each intersection throughout the corridor. More details for each intersection alternative can be found on the meeting exhibits, including pros and cons, potential changes in access, anticipated property impacts, and new side road connections. This slide highlights the intersections along the corridor where the only build alternative proposed is to maintain the existing intersection with minor improvements such as adding or extending turn lanes. They are Anderson Street, Piersdorf Street, Reeder Road, Amelia Earhart Drive, Hanson Road, Acker Road, and County Highway CV. The reason that these intersections are proposed to maintain their current configuration is that they are not anticipated to have any safety or operational issues in the future, or the minor improvements proposed will address any issues that would occur. Please note that one option being considered is constructing a restricted crossing U-turn, or R-cut, approximately 900 feet north of the Reeder Road intersection. This would allow vehicles that currently make a U-turn at Amelia Earhart Drive to travel southbound on US Highway 51 the ability to do that sooner, which would also remove these vehicles from the Amelia Earhart Drive intersection. Finally, at the last public involvement meeting, there were two alternative concepts under consideration at Hanson Road. Since that time, the restricted access option was dismissed from further consideration due primarily to stakeholder feedback. The other intersections along the corridor have more than one alternative under consideration, and each will be discussed in more detail on the next few slides. They include the State Highway 30 interchange, Commercial Avenue, East Washington Avenue, Kinsman Boulevard, and Hepker Road. A recommended alternative has been identified at each of these locations. As a reminder, the recommended alternative is the alternative that the study team feels best addresses the study purpose and need, taking into account the potential impacts and magnitude of costs of the alternatives, as well as the feedback received to date. The recommended alternative may change as the study moves forward, and the feedback received from stakeholders will factor into any changes that are made. More information on specific improvements included in each alternative, as well as specific factors considered in the identification of the recommended alternative, can be found on the exhibits. At the State Highway 30 interchange, there are two alternatives under consideration. The existing conditions improved, which is maintaining the existing diamond interchange with improvements, and converting the interchange to a diverging diamond interchange. The study team is recommending moving forward with the existing conditions improved alternative. The primary reasons for this recommendation is that this option has similar traffic operation benefits to the diverging diamond interchange, but is anticipated to be safer for bicycles and pedestrians and is more familiar to users. The next intersection to the north is Commercial Avenue. One thing to note here is that the WSOR Railroad is located just south of the intersection, and this rail line would likely be utilized if passenger rail comes to Madison. At the last public involvement meeting, there were three alternative concepts under consideration. Since that time, the right-in, right-out concept was dismissed from further consideration due to design concerns, larger impacts than the other concepts, and stakeholder feedback. The remaining two alternatives include the existing conditions improved alternative, which is maintaining the existing signalized intersection with improvements, and a three-legged intersection that would take US Highway 51 over the railroad tracks. The study team is recommending moving forward with the existing conditions improved alternative. The primary reasons for this recommendation are that this alternative has similar safety and operational benefits to the three-legged intersection, but has considerably less cost and impacts. The next intersection to the north is East Washington Avenue. At the last public involvement meeting, there were 4 alternative concepts under consideration. Since that time, the Southwest Quadrant intersection and the Diamond Interchange concepts have been dismissed. The Quadrant intersection was dismissed due to large impacts and concerns with future traffic operations. The Diamond Interchange was dismissed due to large impacts and stakeholder feedback. The remaining 2 alternatives under consideration include the existing conditions improved alternative, which is maintaining the existing signalized intersection with improvements, and a jug handle alternative. The study team is recommending moving forward with a jug handle alternative. The primary reasons for this recommendation are that it provides better safety, intersection capacity, and operations for both vehicles and bicycles and pedestrians at the US Highway 51 and East Washington Avenue intersection. At the Kinsman Boulevard intersection, there are 2 alternatives under consideration. The existing conditions improved, which is maintaining the existing signalized intersection with improvements and converting the intersection to a multi-lane roundabout. The study team is recommending moving forward with the existing conditions improved alternative. The primary reasons for this recommendation are that while both alternatives provide safety and operational benefits, the existing conditions improved alternative has controlled crossings for bicycles and pedestrians and has received more stakeholder support. At the Hepker Road intersection, there are 2 alternatives under consideration. The existing conditions improved, which is maintaining the existing signalized intersection with improvements and converting the intersection to a multi-lane roundabout. The study team is recommending moving forward with the existing conditions improved alternative. The primary reasons for this recommendation are that while both alternatives provide safety and operational benefits, the existing conditions improved alternative has controlled crossings for bicycles and pedestrians and has received more public and stakeholder support. A high-level study schedule is shown on this slide. As discussed in this presentation, detailed alternatives that show potential impacts have been developed throughout the corridor. Based on the feedback received from this round of public involvement, the alternatives will continue to be refined and the study team will determine what changes, if any, should be made to the recommended alternative. This could include selecting a different option for the recommended alternative at intersections throughout the corridor. This will occur over the next few months. A preferred alternative for the corridor will then be identified, which will be the alternative that the Wisconsin DOT would plan to move forward with and eventually construct. The environmental document for the study, which will provide information on the study purpose and need, the alternatives that were evaluated, and the impacts from those alternatives, will be published for public review in the fall of 2024, and that will be followed by a public hearing. The study is anticipated to be completed in early 2025. Once the study is completed, the project would then be eligible to be approved for final design and construction. If that occurs, the earliest the construction of a preferred alternative is anticipated is the late 2020s. Please consider providing feedback regarding the detailed alternatives and the recommended alternative. Your input will help determine what the long-term improvements for the corridor will be. There are comment forms available as well as a survey that focuses on the alternatives under consideration. You may also contact Wisconsin DOT Project Manager Jeff Behrens with any questions or comments you may have. Please complete the survey and submit any comments by May 18, 2024. The exhibits from tonight's meeting, links to the online survey, as well as this presentation will be available on the public involvement page of the study website. Thank you for viewing this presentation. We appreciate your interest in the US Highway 51 Stoughton Road North study, and we look forward to receiving your input as we continue the study process.